Welcome to my new Draft Showcase series, Mega Edition. This series takes a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve and showcases its use in singles draft format. This series will also take a little bit of influence from metas in Pokemon Champions and Smogon Singles. I appreciate the support I've gotten so far on these videos. I'm having a lot of fun making them. I will start to add actual draft battles to the channel again very soon, and as always, I will continue to improve the format as the series goes on. This episode will feature Mega Gallade. It's the channel mascot, guys. It had to be done sooner than later, so get ready for a large Gallade session. A quick rundown of its relevant stats: Mega Gallade gains a big 40 in attack, 30 in defense, and 30 in speed. This Mega is an excellent example of optimized stat distribution as it takes advantage of all three stat increases very well. It hits a sky-high 165 attack, 95 defense, which now allows it to take most strong neutral hits, and 110 speed is a great benchmark to have on a draft. When it comes to offensive high-tier Pokemon, they often fit into three categories. One of them is stab attack killers. These mons tend to only use their stab attacks to clean or break through opponents. Dragapult and Mega Lopunny are two examples. Mega Gallade is great because it fits into the other two categories, coverage killers and setup mons. What makes this awesome Pokemon stand out is that it's one of the best revenge killers in the entire format, and it excels at running 4 attacks that suit a matchup. It's able to do this because Gallade learns a good quality attacking move for 14 different types, which is so many. And because draft is a counter comp type of format, there are plenty of matchups where Mega Gallade is able to run Swords Dance or Bulk Up 3 attacks, making it that setup threat. I haven't even mentioned that it's a Pokemon that also has fantastic utility options. Although it doesn't want to run these moves all the time, it still gets moves like Encore, Taunt, Disable, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, Shadow Sneak, and Destiny Bond. The possibilities with Mega Gallade feel endless, to be honest. Mega Gallade should always be a round 1 pick in my opinion. Gallade tends to work best on balanced to offensively oriented teams. It appreciates the momentum of pivot Pokemon, breakers that put opponents into range of Gallade's coverage, and speed control since Mega Gallade doesn't want to run agility. It should be a forewarning that pairing an offensive Pokemon with Mega Gallade can be a bit tricky. Its dual stab is resisted by psychic types, so ideally you would want a bug, dark, or ghost type to pair with it. However, Gallade is weak to flying, ghost, and fairy, almost guaranteeing that you'll share a weakness with an offensive pairing. I want to emphasize that this isn't the end of the world, but it's just something that you have to be alert about when drafting the defensive core of the team. In Gen 9, Base Gallade got the ability Sharpness. It's a really cool buff to the base form as it was only just okay in prior generations. I bring this up because I believe this buff separates the base form from the Mega form. Gallade with any sort of boosting item actually does hit quite a bit harder than its Mega form with any move boosted by Sharpness. There are a few key reasons as to why Mega Gallade is near the top of all draft boards and base is not though. The jump from 80 to 110 in speed is super significant, and being able to achieve this without locking into one move, especially on a mon that leans on its coverage, is huge. Base form also only gets the boost on certain moves, so its coverage, although still amazing, relative to Mega isn't quite as powerful. Shout out to Shadowclaw getting boosted in Champions though. That's a crazy good coverage option on Gallade thanks to Sharpness. The defense buff also opens up a ton more opportunities for Mega Gallade to utilize Swords Dance more safely, as the base form is quite frail. Here are some teams I've used and theorized that have Mega Gallade. The first team was the first team I ever drafted 10 years ago, though that season was cut short. I made small changes that would benefit the original team, namely adding a good dark type like Hydreigon, which complements Mega Gallade very well with its strong special attacking dark type attacks. The team severely lacks pivoting, but it has everything else you'd want with Mega Gallade. The second team has the same concept, having many different ways to chip opponents down, whether it's actually having pivoting via the low tiers, sandstorm chip damage, or walls switching into strong attacks from Hydreigon or Manaphy. The team is versatile and allows Gallade to slot into any type of build and doesn't force it to be the win con every week. The first sample team is offensively pairing Gholdengo, a ghost type, with Gallade. Ghost and Fighting are arguably the two best attacking types to pair with each other, as the types hit everything in the game neutrally unless you're Zoroark from Hisui. It's incredibly powerful, and having these two high tiers as an offensive core, all you have to do is patch up the Ghost weakness and provide support, which I attempt to do with Zarude. The second sample team deals with opposing Psychic and Ghost types without overlapping weaknesses in the form of Chi-Yu. This is a very solid pairing, and adding Scizor to complete this core allows you to go many different directions when drafting this team. The rest of the squad is just what I would personally do to support this core. So for this video and potentially going forward, I'm going to do only one example battle and do a bit of a PowerPoint-esque presentation on potential sets for the visual learners. The video essay is cool, and I will continue to do so, but sometimes an infographic helps a lot. So on screen, I posted an example matchup for Mega Gallade and potential sets that you could bring. The last one is a little unserious, but could legit work. For all three sets, I spedcraft the slowest Pokemon under me, Arcanine, while still being faster than non-speed boosting Superior. For the first set, Dual Stab Shadow Sneak is very strong because the opponent has no wall that can resist both Psychic and Fighting moves, and Shadow Sneak one-shots Alakazam after a boost and does over 60% to Ribombee. Admittedly, making this set the win con in this matchup is tough due to the double Intimidate spam, Primarina having to be chipped, and the potency of Sticky Webs being around, considering Sticky Web is pretty strong into Mega Gallade. So a game plan where Gallade breaks for another win con in the back might be better here. The second moveset is a simple 4 attacks spam set. You could go Leaf Blade over Poison Jab if you want to maximize the damage on Primarina, could drop a move for Shadow Sneak or Knockoff, even Ice Punch over Triple Axle for less risk. A lot of this is user preference and how well your team matches up into certain Pokemon. In this hypothetical, the team I have is weaker to Primarina than Alakazam, as I have prioritized Poison Jab over Shadow Sneak. The final set I wouldn't personally run probably, but the example team has a lot of physical attackers that get very crippled by Will-O-Wisp. Due to Mega Gallade's great speed tier, it can act as a pseudo defensive check to a good chunk of the opposing team by spamming Burn. Drain Punch and Wish will let it stay healthy, and Poison Jab allows Gallade to still do respectable damage to the Pokemon faster than it in this game. So here is the draft battle as I have been alluding to this whole video. I want to forewarn, like a lot of my showcase videos, this draft battle is almost 7 years old to the day. I did not do much Nat decks in Gen 8, so a lot of my Mega experience is from Gen 7. Anyway, this battle is also more of an Hippowdon showcase just because they have 4 physical attackers and 2 special attackers that aren't initially strong, but that's besides the point. Looking at Gallade here, it's really good in this matchup like many because you see the defensive wall is Buzzwole and Garchomp, maybe Golem, but Golem and Buzzwole are weak to Gallade's stab attacks, so that's cool, and Garchomp is 4 times weak to Ice. And because Gallade learns a coverage move of like every type, including Ice, Garchomp is just not a switch-in. It would have to be either Yache Berry or look to take out Gallade offensively, which at that point you're investing the whole Mon just to deal with Gallade, while I have 5 other Mons. And this is a pretty common theme in a lot of battles and prepping with Mega Gallade. Anyway, I lead with Mega Gallade. I don't know why I did this. I guess I didn't fear the Zoroark at the time. Mega Mawile is a good one-time switch in to Mega Gallade because it can intimidate and then live like the hits, especially if I don't catch it on the switch, which I don't. Hippo is really good here, though I almost like sacked it off if my opponent risked the roll there. I learned that this Buzzwole is a defensive set, which my Hippowdon will always beat because I do have Toxic on this build. And with Gallade, what you want to do in a lot of matchups is it's better to be safe than sorry. There is offensive ways Mega Gallade can be taken down. You know, Scarf Garchomp, Scarf Buzzwole. Like, a lot of Scarfers, you kind of really want to find out who is Choice Scarfed and whatnot, or who's holding any like niche items, like the Yachi Berry, for example. You see here, I'm just getting utility and playing it safe defensively. This is the Zoroark. I wanted to really scout the Zoroark out, so this is, I guess, the way we're doing it. My opponent is attempting to break through my Svidef Klefki, I'm pretty sure this is, which my Klefki is going to successfully beat the Zoroark, so that is super nice. Already opening up Hippowdon. But again, when it comes to being safe, I like to do it with Gallade because I have Excadrill. I could play more aggressive with the other mons. It's really just pick or choose. But here, I can just click the button for free. Crit obviously doesn't matter. And they just do not really have a switch in. If Buzzwole came out, it would drop to a Psychic move, or if it lived, I know it's defensive, which it probably does live. Buzzwole is very bulky, but it can't knock me out in return. If I was... New me would probably switch out here, not knowing if this thing is Scarf or not, because I don't know anything about this. But instead, I just click the Ice Punch, and I just knock it out. I'm not sure at my thought process at the exact time, obviously, 7 years ago. Here, I could also switch out, because Sucker Punch probably knocks out Gallade because of the -1 defense. If I was neutral, Gallade would live because of the extra defense, most likely. I think, I don't know how that calc exactly, but I decide because I'm up in Mons so much, I can just click the button and see if I can knock it out, which I do. The critical hit does not matter at all. Mega Gallade is very strong, and it was at 70%. I do not have the Psychic move. One thing with Mega Gallade that tends to happen is when you're running a lot of coverage, like I was in this game, is if you end up dropping a stab move, it's almost always the Psychic move. Just because close combat is a lot stronger from Gallade than Zen Headbutt or Psycho Cut. They are weaker end moves just because of their base power, which I believe in this game I must just not have had a Psychic move. I probably wanted to deal with this guy through Klefki, Celebi, and Hydreigon, and I guess Hippo in this case. You see this defensive Buzzwole cannot take on the Toxic Hippowdon whatsoever, even with the Facade. At this point, Hippowdon just kind of cleans up, but Gallade clicked 3 buttons and I got 2 KOs. Sometimes it's a little hard to showcase offensive mons because they're not on the field for too long, especially like this one's not like a bulky Gallade, it's very offensively oriented. But you saw I looked for the opportunity to get my Gallade in safely, knowing I could get some guaranteed value when I switched in on the Golem, and then I played a little bit more aggressive on the Garchomp. I think if it was Scarf Chomp, I lived. No, because I was -1 defense. I would have been knocked out. So definitely a risk at that point. But if it was Choice Scarf, it would have to have clicked stab move, and then I had an offensive way to deal with either of them. So I'm pretty sure I was just like, I'm just gonna click the button at this point. So that's gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you enjoyed this style of video. I'm glad I knocked out the channel mascot early, as the original version was my most viewed video, and the quality was so bad, so I'm glad I could do it more justice in this one. If you liked this video, dropping one of them would be very sweet, and with all that, I'm Galladite74, and I'll see you next time.